During World War II, battleships remained the most important naval ships and powerful weapons to a country's military strength. Ranking the top 10 battleships is a difficult task. Some of you will disagree with our list, but we've tried our best to rank them accordingly. But feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. So here are the top 10 battleships of World War II. At number 10, Queen Elizabeth class. 5 fast super dreadnought battleships were employed by the Royal Navy in this fleet. These battleships outperformed their Royal Navy predecessor ships in terms of speed, protection, and firepower. Queen Elizabeth ships were armed with 4 twin 381mm main guns. Armor protection was modified from the previous class with a thicker belt and improved underwater protection. The scale of deck armor was less generous, though typical of contemporary practice. The turbines were rated at 75,000 shaft horsepower at overload and were intended to give the ships a maximum speed of 25 knots. At number 9, the Richelieu class. These were fast battleships used by the French Navy. The Richelieu were scaled up to accommodate more powerful 380mm guns and armor. The ship's belt armor was 327mm thick amidships, and the main battery turrets were protected by 430mm of armor plate on the faces. The main armor deck was 170mm thick, and the conning tower had 340mm thick sides. She was powered by 4 steam turbines and 6 water tube boilers, which developed 155,000 horsepower. Richelieu could also carry up to 4 seaplanes. At number 8, the Colorado-class battleships. These battleships were a group of 4 United States Navy super dreadnoughts battleship. The Colorados were the last of the standard-type battleships, which were built with a similar speed and handling to facilitate line-of-battle maneuvers. The Colorado class was armed with 8 16-inch 45 caliber Mark I guns, which fired a 2,110-pound armor-piercing shell. 4 3-inch 23 caliber guns were mounted initially for anti-aircraft defense, and it has an increase in belt armor near vital machinery to 16 inches to correspond with the increased main gun caliber. At number 7, the Littorio class. Also known as the Vittorio Veneto class, this was a class of battleships used by Italian Navy. They were Italy's most advanced battleships during World War II and were constructed between 1934 and 1942. They were armed with 9 381mm L50 Ansaldo 1934 guns in 3 triple turrets. The ship's secondary battery consisted of 12 152mm L55 Ansaldo Model 1934 guns in 4 triple turrets. The main belt armor of this class was designed and tested to resist 381mm armor-piercing shells at ranges down to 16 kilometers. They have a single catapult on board and could also carry 3 aircraft. Number 6, the North Carolina. These were a class of 2 fast battleships used by the United States Navy. These battleships were particularly armed with 9 406mm Mark VI guns and 20 127mm Mark XII guns. The North Carolina class incorporated armor which weighed 41% of the total displacement. It consisted of an armored raft that extended from just forward of the first gun turret to just aft of the rear gun turret. They had a main armored belt that was 305mm thick. They were powered by 8 boilers that could develop 121,000 horsepower. This class were also able to carry 2 seaplanes. Number 5, the South Dakota class. This was a group of fast battleships used by the United States Navy. They were designed to the same treaty standard displacement limit of 35,000 long tons. They were more portable and better defended, yet they featured 9 406mm Mark VI cannons in 3 gun turrets. The South Dakota-class battleships are made to withstand 16-inch shell fire, unlike the preceding North Carolina class. South Dakota was powered by 8 water tube boilers that develop 130,000 horsepower, yielding a maximum speed of almost 28 knots. South Dakota class could also carry 1 seaplane. At number 4, Nagato class. These were a pair of dreadnought battleships used by the Imperial Japanese Navy. The main armament of the Nagato-class ships consisted of 8 .45 caliber, 16.1-inch third-year type naval guns. The Nagato-class ship's waterline armor belt was made from Vickers cemented armor and protected 137.14 meters of the hull between the barbets of the end turrets. The turbines were designed to produce a total of 80,000 shaft horsepower, giving it a maximum speed of 25 knots. The Nagato class could also carry up to 3 seaplanes. At number 3, the Bismarck class. The Bismarck class was a pair of fast battleships built for the Nazi Germany's Kriegsmarine shortly before the outbreak of World War II. The Bismarck class ships had an armored belt that ranged in thickness from 220 to 320 mm. The thickest section of armor covered the central portion, where the gun turrets, ammunition magazines, and machinery spaces were located. The vessels, which could displace 52,000 tons when fully loaded, were the biggest and most potent warships ever constructed for the Kriegsmarine. The main battery of the Tirpitz and Bismarck was composed of 4 twin turrets housing 8 15-inch SKC-34 guns. Installed power consisted of 12 superheated boilers that developed over 150,000 shaft horsepower. They were able to carry up to 4 seaplanes. At number 2, the Iowa class. The Iowa class was a class of 6 fast battleships of the United States Navy. They were initially intended to intercept fast capital ships such as the Japanese Kongo class. The primary guns used on these battleships are the 9 16-inch 406mm or 50 caliber Mark 7 naval guns. They also carried 25-inch or 38 caliber Mark 12 guns. The Iowa class battleships, like other battleships, were equipped with substantial subsurface torpedo protection, as well as extensive armor protection against bombs and shell fire. Their propulsion includes 8 steam turbines, 8 water tube boilers that generated 212,000 horsepower. Iowa class were able to carry 3 floatplanes. Finally, at number 1 spot comes Yamato class battleships. These are a class of 2 battleships of the Imperial Japanese Navy, the Yamato and Musashi. They were the largest battleships ever made in history. The class was equipped with 9 460mm naval cannons, each of which could fire 1,460 kg shells 42 km away, making it the heaviest naval armament ever installed to a warship. They also had 24 25mm anti-aircraft guns. Designed to engage multiple enemy battleships simultaneously, the Yamatos were fitted with heavy armor up to 650mm. Displacing 72,809 long tons at full load, the completed battleships were the heaviest ever constructed. Yamato class were able to carry 7 seaplanes. Like the Iowa class, the propulsion was 8 steam turbines and up to 12 water tube boilers that could generate up to 150,000 horsepower and a speed of 27 knots. Well, that, guys, was the 10 battleships of World War II. We hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit that notification and subscribe button for more videos from The Buzz.